We have two guests right here in the studio, DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian and PCSO General Manager Mel Robles. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. Happy Bonifacio Day.
Yes, at upang tugunan ang sigaw ng ordinaryong Pilipino, lalo pa ang mga nasalanta ng mga kalamidad. Kasama rin nga natin ngayong hapon ang kalihim ng Department of Social Welfare and Development, Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Good afternoon again, Sec Rex.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Well, first off, kapag usapin po kasi ng korupsyon, no, laging yung mga kababayan nating mahihirap, yung sinasabing laging apektado. No? So how do you look at this?
Well, una gusto ko ilagay natin sa konteksto yung dialogo na to. Tama nga na we call out against corruption, pero gusto ko ilagay sa konteksto na ang Pangulo natin yung nag-call out una. Siya yung nagsimula nitong kampanya laban sa korupsyon, laban sa katiwalian sa flood control.
Yes.
Pero lagi nga ng Pangulo naman sinasabi sa akin na bagamat meron tayong kampanya laban sa korupsyon, dapat yung mga kababayan natin, lalong-lalo yung mga nasasalanta ng iba't ibang mga disaster, dapat napoprotektahan pa rin sila. Tuloy-tuloy yung serbisyo. Kaya nga, nasabi ko nga kanina, nagsimula kami mula nung bagyong Nando sa norte, makailan lang, nagkaroon ng lindol, ilang bagyo, tuloy-tuloy yung responde ng DSWD. At yan ay alinsunod sa utos ng ating Pangulo na while there are investigations going on, kami sa DSWD, ang mandate niya sa amin, keep your eyes on your mandate. Make sure na yung mahihirap, vulnerable, yung marginalized natin mga kababayan, hindi naapektuhan ng delivery ng services. Kaya up to this day, we're on our mark to hit 7 million Filipino families served by our assistance to crisis situation o in AIX program. Yan yung mga financial assistance na pumupunta sila sa office namin para makakuha ng tulong para sa medical, burial, or transport, or food allowance. Tuloy-tuloy yan. The President's made sure na insulated ang DSWD budget na gagamit ito para sa direktang tulong sa mahirap nating kababayan.
No, but following the DPWH flood control scandal, how do we ensure na sa mismong ahensya nyo naman na nagde-deliver ng services sa mahirap nating mga kababayan ay hindi, hindi masyadong naapektuhan ng korupsyon, kung meron man?
Well, una, gusto ko rin i-point out, no, yung na savings sa flood control, malaking bahagi nun nilipat ng Pangulo sa DSWD for next year.
Yes,
so that's a very welcome sa amin yon. Pero kung tandaan nyo, sa amin kasi yung dispensing namin ng tulong is diretso sa tao. There are no lump sums in DSWD. At pangalawa, ang pinaka-importanting safety net sa amin, social workers namin ang nagdi-dispense ng tulong. Marahil marami kayo nakikitang lumalapit sa amin, pero lahat yun isa-isa, painstakingly sinusuri ng maayos ng ating mga social worker para angkop na tulong ang matanggap at diretso sa tao. Yan yung mandate ng Presidente. Second, we're also automating things. Utusin ng ating Pangulo yan.
Okay.
So, for instance, yung mga permit system namin, kasi whether we like it or not, may permitting system ng DSWD para sa mga NGOs at foundations, sa mga good doers natin. Ang sabi nga ng Pangulo, hindi natin dapat pinahihirapan yung mga gustong tumulong. So we've sped that up. Meron na tayong, everything's done online now. And later on, yung aming tulong pinansyal, patungo na rin doon. Like in the 4-piece program, GCash na nga yung ginagamit namin. So, it's not just your basic deposit account, but it goes directly to their GCash accounts. Diretso sa tao.
Now, kasi you're talking about automation, no? Pero ang clamor kasi ng publiko ngayon po is transparency, accountability in everything that the government is doing, every process.
Yep.
How do you ensure that? Especially nga sa mga ayuda programs.
You have to remember two things. Ang aming mga social worker, isa-isa sinusuri yung cases. Everybody has a case file with us, a case management file. Hindi yan yung bigla nang bibigyan, wala nang trace sa amin. Kapag lumapit ka sa DSWD, yung mga social worker namin gumagawa ng case social intake. Ini-intake form yan, parang mga doktor, but social workers naman ang gumagawa. It's lodged into the system. So that next time around, when Rex comes back to us for assistance, we can pull up that file and see kung ano yung natulong sa'yo. Pangalawa, I share the vision of the President that automation kasi removes human subjectivity. Ibig sabihin, the less people touching hands, the better it is. Kasi when there's so much human subjectivity, that's when things become grayer, so to speak. So ngayon, with automation, you're talking to a system. The system is either yes or no. So that's on the side of DSWD. Alam nyo, dati-rate sa amin, to get a permit to start an NGO or a foundation, gusto na nga tumulong. Dati-rate, it takes 6 months to get a license to operate, to register, to license, and to accredit your NGO. But now, as simple as 2 weeks or even 7 days, as long as kompleto ang inyong mga papeles, you get it already. Imagine mo, mga foundations at NGO dati pahihirapan ng 6 na buwan, iba-iba isang taon to get a permit. But the President said, simple. First, Rex, streamline the processes. Second, yung automate. Maraming tao kasi iniisip pag nag-automate ka, that's the end of it. Quite the contrary, automation is just 50% of the battle. You have to streamline the steps. Kasi pag hindi mo ni-streamline yung mga steps, doon pumapasok na naman yung angle for corruption. Kasi paulit-ulit na requirements, paulit-ulit na form, paulit-ulit, pinahihirapan.
Yeah.
And that's where yung pare-pare systems happen, di ba? Na,
Exactly.
pare, abutan na lang
Pasuyo,
kita.
oo.
So now, the number of forms, the number of requirements, number of steps have all been drastically reduced. And when you get your permits, in the case of DSWD, wala kang kausap na tao. Ang kausap mo, the system.
In terms of percentage, sa automation, sa tina-target nyo, nasa na kayo ngayon?
We're almost done. Ang natitira na lang namin na module, so the Minors Travel Authority, ito yung mga bata na umaalis mag-isa.
Yes, oo.
Yan,
Kailangan yun.
favorite yan ng tao. It's both at security to prevent human trafficking, pero at the same time noon, puro pare-pare. Would you imagine this? Before this administration, the Minors Travel Authority permit was so manual. Meaning, ito pinakamasaya na tuklasan namin, ibang travel agent, part yun ng kanilang serbisyo. So you get they'll work on your visa, they'll work on your ticket, and pag gusto mo dagdag ka ng konti, sila na rin maglalakad ng travel authority mo.
Pinagkakakitaan din nila.
Naglalakad ng travel authority.
Okay.
Would you imagine, never namin nakakausap yung magulang, never namin nakikita yung bata. So bukas makalawa, mawala yan, di na bumalik, problema na. Now, in the comfort of your own home, in your office, the interview is done purely online. O syempre, marami magsasabi na, mas mahirap kasi dati kausap ko lang travel agent, sagot na lahat. But malamang yung travel agent na yun, may kausap sa loob ng departamento namin yun. Kaya nang bilis niya makuha yung manual na papel na yun. So ang natitira na lang namin na module na pino-perfect lang namin is the pag-dispense ng ayuda. In the case of 4Ps, it's fully automated. In fact, ang gusto nga ng presidente, nung minana namin yung 4Ps program, every 2 months bago nila makuha yung tulong pinansyal nila. Ngayon, by summer of next year, same month, you get your conditional cash transfer. So yung manual na nakikita nyo na ayuda, yan ang tinatrabaho na namin ngayon para masigurado natin na you just transact it online. Don't fall in line, go online. That's our motto. And ako, naniniwala ako, when you streamline things, when the people know the steps clearly, nakalathala na 3 step lang yan, 2 form lang yan, streamline ang proseso, hindi ka papaikot-ikutin, then you pretty much eliminate unnecessary red tape. Red tape is corruption. And the President's very clear. You streamline, you automate, and when we're done, that department should be fully automated.
Sec Rex, let's continue our discussion about ayuda in a bit. Puntahan lang natin si GM Mel right here, partner.
Yes, so we're speaking with Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office General Manager Mel Robles. Sir Mel, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Let's start with an update on PCSO's major charity and medical assistance programs. You have been very busy the past couple of months, relief operations. Let's have some updates on that and yung pag-distribute ng ChariTimba. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And we're the poorer relation of this WD because in terms of magnitude, they're really there. I mean, we source it from our self-generated revenues, no? But we always work hand in hand, no? When there is a disaster, we make sure that we also help assist, especially in places where they are not available yet, no? Sometimes we try to augment. And in all this noise nga, I was telling, ang dami nagsasabi, ang gulo-gulo na, no?
Oo.
Sabi na, I'm telling him, no. Marami nang gugulo. Pero hindi magulo. The fact that we can, like, yung bagyo sa Bacolod, a couple of days ago, we distributed 87 ambulances, no? Yung patient transport vehicle. Yung sabi ko, no. Hindi ho magulo. Maingay, admit, marami nang gugulo, admit. Pero the fact that we are here, hindi po magulo because we are proving that this government has direction, has the mandate, and it's carrying out. Of course, yung noise, we like that because ibig sabihin, there is democracy here and the people are reacting to what the president disclosed or relayed, not only in an ordinary press con, in his zona. This is how serious the president is. There are a lot of venues where he can say that, But saying it in the SONA is a declaration of policy. So kaya ang sinasabi ko, let it be. Let people get mad, get angry. They should. We all should. That kaya nga ang presidente nagbitaw niyan. Pero kami, if you will look at the president, my goodness, six events a day. Talo po kami. Mas bata pa ako sa kanya. Pero I don't think I can do that, no? So you can just imagine yung ginagawa niya that we're continuing. In fact, on December 2, we will achieve a record of having 100% ambulances all over the Philippines. All cities, municipalities, never been done before.
At least one.
Yes, at least one. So, yan po yung sinasabi natin na tuloy po ang serbisyo regardless of the noise. At sabi ko nga, try to listen to this noise. This noise will make you happy. That noise, yeah, will make you mad, and that's good. You have to be not only mad, indignant. No?
Yes, of
We
course.
have to be indignant. Had the president not said this, ay tuloy ang ligaya. No? So, but look, since he declared this, yung mga ina-idol ng maraming tao, ng mga nepo, they started getting mad. So, the only president who took this on seriously, the only president with the risk of maybe losing some allies, no? But look at that, how big a sacrifice that is and how big the courage that he should muster para sabihin ito. Hindi ito ginagawa because it is widespread. But now we are seeing the magnitude. And again, sinasabi ko, as sinasabi niya, tuloy kami. The president is so focused. Yeah, he's doing that, but that doesn't stop us. So,
How are all these issues affecting the first family? You've spoken before that you are close to First Lady Liza. Kamusta sila? Itong mga issues na lumalabas, particularly yung pagsalita ni Senator
Marcos.
Yes. How has this affected the first family?
well, cool sila. Mas ninervous nga kami. Sila cool. They can take it. You know, I have to admire them. Very, yung talagang, I think, yung sinasabing if you throw stones at every dog that barks at you, you won't get there. But they're very focused. Therefore, they can handle it. They can take it. Lalo si First Lady, kung ano na sinasabing, lahat ng absurdities was thrown at her, no?
Yeah.
You never hear her stoop to that level of criticism. And I think they are also aware that these things will happen, no? And if they are affected, it doesn't show. That's from my point of view.
Okay. We're talking about automation with the DSWD. Sa PCSO ba, are you also moving toward more digital or automated systems to minimize human intervention and also reduce opportunities for irregularities?
I must admit, we will copy from them. Now we're really working on that. I said,
sibling organization.
mag-API kami because
Yes.
really, we're working on the same sector of the society. So I already talked to him that we will try to just share, which is better even, no? To share. Of course, we have our own, but once we share, we will expand it. And I agree with all about automation. It's about time.
I wanted to ask Sir Mel, no, gusto ko lang kamustahin kasi with all these corruption cases na lumalabas, medyo hindi na napag-uusapan ngayon yung online gambling, the ban, yung iban ang online gambling. Kamusta na?
Baka pwedeng unahin yung online illegal gambling.
Illegal gambling, yes. So,
Yun ang pinaka that's affecting us so much because you lose legitimate jobs, you lose taxes, and in our case, you lose the charity funds that we generate. So, yeah, it's bad, but worse is the illegal gambling. Our sites, yung lotto po namin, ginagaya na po yun. And we have monitored 300 sites. No taxes. Wow. Maybe equaling our income. We don't know. It's very difficult with the... but hindi naman po. It's still there. Bawal pa rin ang illegal online. Yun kasi ang tingin ko. We should focus on illegal online than kung legitimate naman, at least you get taxes, no? But kasi ang illegal online is unregulated. That's the danger. Yung mga scatter na illegal, it really destroys kasi wala silang responsible gaming na concept.
By how much yung nawawala sa PCSO?
Well, there is one company which we sued. It's pending now. The case is moving now For more than a little over a year, mga 13, 14 months, ang nakuha namin through investigation, they grossed 4.7 billion.
Wow.
And that's only one. So we really have to go hard on this.
Sabi mo nga 300 sites yung nakita niyo?
Yes, you know, at isa-isa namin, painstakingly, iniisa-isa namin, we're working with CICC, all the agencies, no, but it's really difficult. Kasi yung iba abroad eh.
Right, right.
So it's really difficult. But,
Well, I'm wondering now, kasi interrelated, sabi nyo nga, ang inyong clientele halos parehas
Sibling
lang.
agencies with the same
Sibling
mandate.
agency with a similar mandate. But I'm wondering now, meron na bang maayos kayong database? Oo. Can you talk more about that, Secretary?
Kami sa DSWD, and I'm sure PCSO has the same thing. We used to have our own database na internal.
Yes.
But again, you know, when you have a president who's digitally savvy, he wants all these databases linked. And that's why the PhilSys is something that he's been pounding and working on heavily.
Okay.
Now, in the case of DSWD, for instance, when you come to our office now, we're already rolling out yung likeness module. So meaning using your phone or our tablet, lagay namin sa mukha mo, lalabas sa system namin if you're a PhilSys ID holder.
Okay.
So that now we're tapping into, there should only be one real database, which is the
Exactly.
national government's PhilSys database. So now we're tapped into that. All our programs are gradually migrating to that all the way to next 6 months. So if you come to our office now, you walk in, meron kaming tinatawag doon yung verification mode of likeness. It's a tablet that we use. Tapos gagalaw-galawin mo yung mukha mo. Lalabas kung may PhilSys. Now, that same database tells us what services you've taken from DSWD.
Okay.
Whether you're a 4-piece member, you've done emergency cash transfer during a disaster, whether you're yung AIX namin, yung assistance to individual in crisis situation. And I think all the aid agencies are tapping into PhilSys based on the instruction of the President so that later on, we can look at interagency cross-functionality, meaning nakatanggap sa amin, pero kulang, pumunta sa PCSO, so we can maximize resources and streamline it some more.
So in a way, this will eliminate yung mga ghost beneficiaries, double benefits that
Well,
they're
matagal
getting.
na yan na-eliminate because PhilSys nga is helping us eh.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
maliit na lang yung gap. I just don't have the number on top of my mind. Maliit na lang yung gap ng mga Pilipino na walang PhilSys. Magkaiba yung usapan yung may ID ka ba ng PhilSys o wala. Kasi now they're also using
yes.
digital IDs.
That's true.
Okay.
They're now accepting it, 'di ba? Meron ng QR siya. You don't have to bring your physical ID na. I'll give you a case that we've been working on with PhilSys. Would you know that there are 25 million 4-piece beneficiaries? We're now only trying to enroll 2 more million, then lahat sila may PhilSys ID na. Ang 4-piece ang pinakamahihirap sa ating lipunan. So kung meron tayo kailangan matrack down sila yon. Alam natin na sa 4P sila, pero alam na rin natin na maaring gumagamit sila ng ibang serbisyo katulad ng tupad ng DOLE
Yes.
or ng MAIP ng DOH or baka gusto namin makita kung PhilHealth member sila or lumapit sila sa PCSO. So that's a milestone by itself. Nagsimula kami sa halos wala sa kanila ang may PhilSys ID. Ngayon, we're down to 2 million of the 25 million and our target is dapat by first part of next year, 100% of our 4-piece beneficiaries have PhilSys IDs. National IDs, sorry. PhilSys, but I'll call it national ID. And that's because the President keeps on asking us to get everybody, lalo na yung mga nasa ilalim ng lipunan, dapat di sila maiwan dito sa digital push. And the first step is getting them into the database, the national database.
Exactly.
Pero tama ka. It's also part of an anti-corruption campaign. Kasi ngayon makikita mo na kung ghost. Pero sa amin, mahigpit kami kasi may face-to-face intake kami. Ha? And I'm sure sa PCSO ganun din. Pero ngayon makikita mo na talaga kung ilan dyan yung actual beneficiary mo, anong strata ng society sila nakatira. Balik tayo sa disaster. You know, this last 3 months has been the most intense for our department. The longest stretch of natural disasters from typhoon to earthquakes to volcanoes.
Yeah.
Lagi nga kami nag-aabot ng PCSO on the ground kasi we complement each other's efforts. But you know, the President goes with me to ground zero. He's been to Masbate nung Opong. He's been to Tino in Cebu. And then we went to Negros also. I would know because disaster response is with DSWD. We normally fly together. But in those conversations, he manages to put in yung, we do kasi emergency cash transfers. Diba narinig nyo lagi, pag may disaster, nagbibigay kami ng cash assistance. Gusto yun ng Presidente, malink rin sa national database natin para mas mabilis yung dispensing. Para alam natin na, alam ba, si victim A, oo, nawala yung bahay niya, pero alam namin na 4-piece member siya. At yun naman pala, na-enroll rin namin siya sa tupad. So we can look at it from a bigger picture na lahat pala ng serbisyo ng gobyerno, pwede ka pang tulungan.
So it's easier, no? But since nabanggit nyo na po itong mga disasters, because as mentioned, corruption kills. At kitang-kita nyo po yan on the ground kapag nagpupunta kayo sa mga areas kung saan may mga lugar na naapektuhan itong flood control scandal.
Well, alam nyo, sabi nga ni GML, the President was the one who called it out first on a national platform, the biggest national platform, the SONA.
Right.
But the second part is, remember, he also said he welcomes these rallies, and if he were not president nga, he would join these rallies. It's correct that we call it out the way it is. Pero ang maganda kay Presidente, he's managed to insulate 8 departments like ourselves. I call ourselves, when you do social welfare, it's an 8 department.
Exactly.
He manages to still keep us on the top priority. In fact, whenever we would have disaster meetings, ang instruction niya lagi kay Sec Ralph, nung nasa DOF pa siya, is always to make sure that there's cash readily for use namin. Now, it's both systemic and endemic in the sense that we have to uproot the root cause of it. Pero you can't stop doing the response also. So the president's doing both at the same time. While he's leading the corruption fight, he manages the aid or the disaster response at the same time. And he sees it kasi we went to Opong, we went to all these disaster sites. So I guess he manages to contextualize what's happening on the ground with this greater campaign to end corruption right here, right now.
Speaking of corruption allegations, I want to throw it back to Sir Mel. What's your response to the corruption allegations that have surfaced regarding PCSO operations, and anong steps ang tinitake ng agency para i-address itong public concern?
Well, there are inquiries about that, and we have strengthened our security on our games. So, so far wala pa rin naman, wala pa naman kaming makita. Our security systems are in place. You know, every time you talk about PCSO, ang dami namin kasing followers eh. You really excite the viewership. But I will tell you, we have invited all those who want to investigate, and none of them came. Please look, please conduct an investigation. No one. There are inquiries. Just hanggang doon lang. No? But people are still betting. The proof of that is that when people patronize you. And so far, they're still there, no? So, pag may nagsasabi nga sa akin, ipingin naman ng winning number. Sabi ko, if I know that, I'll not tell you. Di ba? Oh, that's great.
GM, sa akin mo ibulong.
Kasi
No, I mean not, kung alam mo, di ba?
very regular na
tumataya. No, not only that, we have security programs, we have ISO certified on security. We have the gaming licenses. These are not need to be international gaming licenses. You cannot do this. Even the draw machines that we use, there is a protocol for that has been established a long time ago. Hindi na to nung araw na bola na kahoy. It's automated now, except the drawing kasi wind blown yan, ano? Except that para walang human contact. It's now very different. And it's live on TV. Mahirap gawin yan. Of course, sabi ko, we also welcome kung meron doubts, because it helps us improve it. Just like anything, if somebody calls you out, then I think that's a good sign.
Well, for both GML and Sec Rex, no, what message would you like to send to Filipinos? No, in the midst of this corruption allegations and all, how do we ensure that services continue to our poor but deserving Filipinos?
Well, ako, number one, I sit in the disaster table when decisions are made. And most of these, in fact, all of these disaster meetings ng National Disaster Council is streamed live. Sa ating mga kababayan na naging biktima ng lindol at iba't ibang mga bagyo, pag pinanood nyo yung mga live stream na yun, ang utos lagi ng Pangulo is unahin ang tulong sa ating mga kababayan. So tama, nangyayari itong mga rallies na to, itong mga inquiries on corruption, pero hindi napapabayaan yung trabaho ng departamento. Sa katunayan, sa huling full cabinet meeting namin mga 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, sabi nga ng Pangulo, there are 2 things that he wants us to focus on, at least DSWD. One, finish our budget to make sure that we give the people a budget that puts poor people on top of the list. So kami yun. And pangalawa, huwag bibitawan ng disaster. Kasi alam nyo, minsan, pag nangyayang disaster, lahat tayo doon nakatingin. Pero pagkatapos, ma-divert yung attention natin. Ang assurance namin sa inyo, kaya ako pabalik-balik sa mga lugar na yan because the recovery has to happen also. Kami ng Department of Housing, DPWH, DepEd, long when the cameras are gone, we're still going back to ground zero. Kasi importante sa amin yung relief, response, pero mas importante sa amin yung recovery. para makabalik sila sa normal nila mga buhay. And the President checks on that pretty much every single day with me kung ilan na ang na financial assistance, ilan ng tulong. As we speak right now, and people can fact check me on this, never naman kami tumigil sa mga payouts namin, lalong-lalo na sa disaster areas. Una sila sa listahan. We have around 13 of the 18 regions na one way or another na apektuhan itong mga disaster in the past couple of months. Lahat ng on-the-ground payouts natin tuloy-tuloy.
Okay. GM
Mel.
Robles, please.
Yes.
Well, sa ating po mga kababayan, please keep this vigilance. Maganda po ito. In fact, kung tayo po ay naging as vigilant and as passionate siguro for the last year, siguro hindi tayo umabot dito eh. So, and nakakatuwa naman at tayo nagiging conscious na. Matuto lang po sana tayo that should not end in these rallies. Pagdating ng halalan, tandaan nyo na po yung mga taong kailangan at nararapat iboto kasi nasa atin po yan eh. Kung kailan uso lang po, kasi minsan kung kailan lang uso, nakakalimutan na naman. We always have to be vigilant. And ako, really, I thank the President for doing this. And I hope it doesn't stop yung pagiging vigilant natin. And not only on government, because government is not the owner of corruption eh. Pati po tayo sa pribado. Yun hong taga-cable guy natin na bibigyan ko kayo ng 5 TV, isang bayad lang. No? Corruption is endemic talaga. Pumapasok and is permeating lahat ng sektor. Kaya kung hindi man ho gobyerno, pati po sa ating sa maliliit na bagay, sa gwardiya, sa parking, minsan gusto mo, sige, sa'yo na, wag mo na ipasok doon. So these things, so corruption, when you talk of corruption, sana po, wag lang po sa gobyerno because the government is not the owner of corruption. Meron din pong corruption. So ang akin, at all levels, whether government, yes, it's good, we are taxpayers, let us fight corruption. Pero kahit po sa ating pagiging pribadong tao, labanan din po natin ng corruption. Katulad nga ho ng kalaban namin na illegal gamblers, that's corruption. You're evading your taxes. So lahat ho, labanan ho natin corruption, saan man natin makasalubong.
So cancel corruption now, not just in the government, but in everyday
Everywhere.
life.
Exactly. That's why we want to thank our guests this afternoon.
Thank you, gentlemen.
PCSO GM Mel Robles and Social Welfare Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon.